Alright boys, it's time to talk about you-know-what, VTubing. So, you guys know, your boy really do be liking looking at some hot woman. But you know what's even better? Looking at some good, hot, tootie woman. Goddamn tasting like Chef Boyardee in this house. Anyways, just look at all of them. You're telling me this isn't what you seek in your daily life? Forget real woman. The only thing they do is break your heart. Evolve to E-woman. Today, boys, we'll be talking about how VTubing started, why it's so good, which is obvious, and how VTubing has taken over my need for real-life relationships. Down the Yahoo rabbit hole, boys. And don't worry, I'm not going to be yelling the entire video. I'm just doing it to get that hook in. Alright, trust me. Imagine you were all the way back in the past when VTubing didn't exist, aka 2016. You turn on your computer, you go on YouTube, and you're looking for YouTube, and you see the OG content like Filthy Frank or Max Mofo, and then you see this anime chick. You think to yourself, what is this doing here? This ain't from no anime. You click on it, being curious of course, and you see this hot anime chick talking specifically to the viewer and playing games. A hot anime chick is talking to you? This is the longest conversation you've ever held before, and she's doing all of the talking? This is revolutionary. We could make a religion out of this. And so, they did. And when I say they did, I don't mean a couple of people messing around on Discord creating a cult around their old high school counselor. We are talking about 1 million subscribers in about 10 months. People were hooked harder on VTubing than actual crack cocaine. One cute anime girl is cool and all, but you know what's even better? 2 cute anime girls. And God said on the 3rd day, let there be more. Now there are over 10,000 VTubers out there in the great wide internet of ours due to the excessive hype behind it all. At first, the videos these female pioneers were making were legitimate videos. They might have been videos just talking about themselves, but socially deprived otakus strive on those things. These videos would be about a couple of minutes long and would involve a VTuber actually moving in a 3D space, but sadly not your 3D space because, you know, you're real, and she is. These early VTubers were mostly backed by a big company like Kizuna AI, so they had to act like actual idols because at the end of the day, a lot of these companies want these girls to be perfect in every image. Or at least, they used to want that. As time progressed for the VTuber scene, weird culture barriers were being pressed, such as when Kizuna started playing video games and cussing in English at random people, to other VTubers just straight up saying the N-word, because they heard it in their game and they thought the voice actors said it funny. True story. All of these actions lead us to the modern day VTubing, which is a realm in which kawaii anime girls meet shitposting, and it's a glorious place. So boys, it's time to talk about the main premise of this video, Hololive. Now, there's this lad of the name of Motoaki Tanigo, aka Yahoo, because one of his streamers were being dyslexic and said his name wrong, and the name stuck. Anyways, Tanigo had a dream. His dream was to combine the likes of a virtual avatar, like Hatsune Miku, and combine it with the likes of an idol group. Now, in theory, it sounds like a plausible, good idea. Just like all good nightmares though, his nightmare started with a dream. That dream under the likes of Tokina Sora and the first couple of streamers he hired accomplished his goal. But as time went by, things changed. So much so that it's pretty hard to call the new and even some of the older streamers idols anymore. Don't get me wrong, they are definitely entertaining, but cutesy idols that go around singing and dancing? Yeah, not even close anymore. Which is a great thing, and honestly is the route I believe Yahoo is going down right now because he knows it's profitable. Smart man. Idol culture just isn't really that large outside of the Asian world, so these streamers expanding and broadening their audience is exactly what they need. Let's play a game. Which one of these scenarios are real events that have happened in Hololive? So, there's this one streamer that OD'd on sleeping pills and ended up playing a game while high on stream until she passed out. On the stream, of course. Or a streamer who asked her fan base to make lewd content of herself so that she could review it on stream. If you answered both of them, then you are correct. But in all seriousness, there are so many wacky things that the streamers do, and so many people that decide to clip it and translate it all, that even though they might not be speaking the same language as yours, there's always going to be a person that's dedicated enough to translate the entire stream, post it on YouTube, just so that everyone can understand and enjoy what they enjoy. I know I'm going to be asking you for a lot when I say this, but imagine a good soap opera. Yeah, that's Hololive. From streamers asking each other their bra colors, doing cutesy things and throwing up on stream, to the Chinese controversy, the copyright controversy, people getting doxxed and having to stop streaming so that people don't go after them, to just straight up shitposting, Hololive has it all. So, where does one start? Before I begin, the idols are released in groups, aka generations, that dictate the overall theme of the characters. What I mean by that is how they look, not how they act. Except for the first generation, we give them a little pass. It starts with the 0th gen, because just like the 0th law of thermodynamics, all the idols are the best waifu of their own, and not one single waifu will be better or worse than another. And if you don't know thermodynamics, then you still have time to not be held down with the weight of knowledge and stare at the ignorant that know no better than to idly scroll through TikTok until their goldfish attention span makes them continue their eternal cycle of blissful ignorance. But I digress. Since most people watching this probably know English, hopefully, the question I must ask you is, what is better, sub or dub? Just kidding, but to start out with, I would recommend starting out with Hololive EN. Now, within Hololive, there are specific subgroups that make up Hololive. There's Hololive JP, which is for Japan, Hololive ID, which is for the Indonesians, and Hololive EN for the English-speaking people out there. There was a Hololive CN, but we don't talk about that one anymore. Now, since Hololive EN is fairly new, there are only a handful of idols, but they all have their own unique charm to them. To give a quick rundown, Kali is the Grim Reaper's apprentice who spits fire hotter than hell itself. Kiara, the $20 KFC fill-up, who speaks 3 languages and hosts her own little host show. Ina, the eldritch being who, despite looking like a monster, is actually the exact opposite and draws really well. Watson, who is the gamer gremlin, who isn't afraid to ground pounds one's mom. And lastly, Gargura, who has the most subscribers out of the entirety of Hololive, and is a little lolly shark that can't swim, for some reason. Now, they are obviously much more complex than what I described them as, so I would recommend using my description as a good starter point on who you would like to check out first. Now, if you are too much of a hipster, weeb, and want to jump straight into the dub, then you are in luck. A lot of the other talents in the Japanese and Indonesian groups speak either some or are completely fluent in English. An example being is that around 50% or more of Risu's streams tend to be in English, because she has a good English following base, and as more and more English-speaking people have started getting into VTubers, they've obviously started watching Hololive, and they're trying to tap into that potential market. If you want to start out with a Japanese, or maybe you just want a good gateway into the foreign community of Hololive, then I would recommend going to the meme lord herself, Coco, because she is fluent in both English and Japanese, and she typically explains what is going on in English for an English fan base, which, a lot of her fan base consists of English speakers. Almost all the JP talents have been learning some English, with Hachima getting closer to being proficient at English each day, but believe it or not, there is a workaround. Translators! Translators will typically post clips from the streams of the Japanese and Indonesian idols, and translate either segments or the entire stream, all with English subs, so that people such as us can understand them. And there are some very good clips of some concerning titles that are definitely worth a watch. These clips are typically what drag people into the rabbit hole to begin with, and so you know that you can't go wrong listening to an anime girl try to understand English memes, to just a completely different anime girl just going berserk and raging on stream. Don't worry if the first couple of people you watch or clips you see don't entertain you, because there are around 56 different Hololive idols. So, there is at least one hot anime chick that will fill your niche. I mean, come on, there is a simping zombie idol now. How can it get even better than that? Some of these idols are dank memers talking about No Nut November, and some are just straight up horny. It's like the most chaotic and entertaining Xbox party. Wait, that's too boomer of a reference. It's like the most chaotic and entertaining Discord VC you have ever been a part of, where everyone is having a great time. Now, you might be saying,
Well, Grant, that's cool and all, but I'm already a part of the
BTS
and
AKB48.
why should I care about this VTuber phenomenon when I already want Hana Uzaki to become my mommy tomboy dom girlfriend? To that I say, get some help. And secondly, because these aren't like your normal idols. I know I've been calling them idols, but there is an actual difference between the two, despite being called the same thing. The word idol means someone that is greatly admired, loved, or revered, with both of these groups, traditional idol groups and Hololive, indeed are. The difference here is that most people that are interested in the traditional idol scene believe that there are certain rules that these idols must abide by, and if they don't, then they aren't idols anymore. For example, in an idol group called NGT48, Maho Yamaguchi was assaulted by two men in her own apartment building due to other members of her group leaking her information. She finally decided to release this information to the public a year after, and then was pressured by her company to apologize to the public for having told everyone on social media that she was assaulted. As expected, the public was in outrage over how management was trying to handle the whole situation. These idols in the traditional idol groups are forced to act a certain way, the draconian rules that bind them to their contract. This helps make the idol feel inhuman, because they aren't allowed to do basic human actions such as dating or interacting with the outside world using their own thoughts and words, and not the words that they are force-fed to say. Nowhere does it state that every idol group has to abide by these rules, because they aren't a universal rule, they are company policy. That's why when one sees the idols on Hololive, aloof and having fun, it might not feel like they are idols, but they really are. If one is to look at the Super Chat statistics, almost all the top Super Chat earners are VTubers, with a lot of those idols being from Hololive. So, what I'm trying to say during this rant is that the idols in Hololive are not put up on a pedestal so high that it makes them feel inhuman, and are instead low enough so that the commoner, such as us, can relate to them and can see them as a real human being, because at the end of the day, they are real people behind an avatar just trying to make people happy and entertained. Now, they have their own rules that they are bound by, but they make a lot more sense from the traditional rules, and I believe is an innovation to the old rulebook. All in all, VTubing is the new trend in streaming and probably won't be going away anytime soon. We are in the enlightenment phase of VTubing, with new things happening every day, not just within Hololive, but the entire genre. There are literally VTubing cam girls out there now. We live in the best timeline, for the most part. With more companies trying to get their hands into this new entertainment industry, don't get surprised when instead of New York being known for the Statue of Liberty and the Empire State Building, New York is instead known for their Cat Girl VTuber. Oh, were the past predictions of the future so off? Remember, Hololive isn't the only VTuber company. Some of the other big ones out there are VShoujo and Niji Sanji, and if you want me to do a video about those too, please leave it down in the comments. My guess on why VTubing has become popular is that it's anime girls doing things other than being in anime. They can actually express themselves and not be 100% stuck to a script like a TV show. Also, of course, the fact that 2D is better than 3D. We are gonna talk about 1D. Hololive is a massive company that is only going to get bigger, and a company I recommend checking out, especially if you are new to the VTubing scene. Now, a little behind the scenes info here. While editing this video, Hololive EN had just come out, and they are already doing auditions for the second cast of Hololive EN. That just shows how much of a market there is in the VTubing English community, and just proves that it will only grow bigger as time goes on, just like my interest in the Vtuber scene. Now lads, it actually took me a very long time to put together this video, so I would appreciate it if you would smash the like buttons, as they all say, or not. It's your life, you do you. It helps with the YouTube algorithm though, you know? Now if you excuse me, I will be watching the Shrek watch-along with Amelia, so if you would please excuse me while I do that. And ignore the fact that it's been 6 months since it's actually been streamed. Toodles!